City
Mr.
proclamation.
Lawless, the city proclamation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is Brian's deal.
I thought it was Barry brought this forward. Barry brought this forward.
I think
What
staff,
did he get on council?
staff report kind of just, I guess this is a checking in to ensure that the process that we followed in the proclamation that was administered this evening follow the protocol that the council took action upon, which the city clerk's office was kind enough to compile as a summary of that meeting and what the minute order actions of them were. Recommendation would be, when you're already going to be looking at your city council member handbook as part of your policy, as your policy statements as it relates to your online agendas, paperless agenda protocols, that perhaps that this be codified as part of your
Where is the
handbook as well.
confusion?
Say again?
Where's the confusion on this?
This is Brian's deal.
Well, there's been some members of council that have expressed.
So,
Me?
I'm gonna bring it back to council. So I didn't know I was supposed to screen, because all I was supposed to do was vote. Go ahead.
I think that's where the
Councilmember.
confusion was. When I, well, at least I can only speak for myself. When I was looking at changing the proclamation process, my understanding is it would still keep the mayor in the screening role and handling all of those, but anything that she approved would be brought forward to council for council approval, requiring 3 votes. So, because I didn't want to be in a situation where the general public can put anything under the consent calendar in terms of proclamation requests, and then we have to debate over them. To me, having the mayor act in her role in that regard, to me, would be more efficient. In that
Well, I approve them all. So do you,
Now, what's the difference? And
So
if
they
the
should-
public wants to put something out there, I don't have a problem with it. I'll vote on it.
Your Honor,
Vice Mayor?
I heard differently. I heard that the council has to approve the proclamations and there was no screening process. I reviewed the verbatim transcript of what was said. I don't see anything in there that says the mayor has to approve anything. I think that I was under the impression at that night that people, you access it either online or in person, submit a request for a proclamation, it goes on the consent calendar. The council either approves it or pulls it off, discusses it, and then votes on it, and then it's issued at the subsequent meeting.
That's the way I read it.
Well, I think what, and I'm not speaking for Councilman Ward, I think what he's trying to get at, what he doesn't want is he doesn't want a whole slew of proclamations that inundate the consent calendar is what he's trying to prevent, which I understand. Now, I'd have thought of like, well, every proclamation has to have a sponsor, and then at least that way,
But that's not on the past.
well, we could change it.
Well, that's fine, but not tonight, we're not.
Well, not
No,
really,
no.
because what he's saying is
So-
right now, like you said, anybody that submits one, you're going to.
So what if I say no to them?
Yeah, I know, I thought the same thing.
So what if I say no to a proclamation? Let's say I said no to the library card, just as an example. I would never say no to
Yes.
that. But let's say if I said no to that, so
Then any city
what
council
recourse do they have?
well, they can come to any city council member, and then council member can put it on the agenda,
On the
So-
consent calendar.
on the consent calendar, sure. Well, that's where it goes anyway.
Well, that goes back to my sponsor.
So it goes there anyway. Why,
Wait.
why?
But you would need a sponsor. You would need a council representative to actually sponsor the item.
So we're changing.
No, we're not
What
changing
was
anything.
voted
We're trying to get
on.
ahead of some kind of.
Okay, because I overstepped.
Not
my
you. It's not about.
authority.
This is not about you. I'm not worried about you, Virginia. I'm seriously not. I'm worried about someone putting 30, proclamations on the consent calendar, and we have to go through every one of them. It could happen.
It could.
I'm not trying to make it convoluted. I mean,
Bring 'em on.
my thing is that,
good with it too. I don't really care.
They'll get tired before I do.
I don't know if the staff won't get tired of writing the things up.
I mean, we can leave it as
We're
is.
going-
My
we're going
concern is
paperless.
that, my understanding, there has been proclamations in the past that haven't been approved by mayors, and I can't speak for you, but, so my point is I don't want to be getting into public debates over certain proclamations that are brought forward that could have been screened out.
Too late.
Well,
That was the,
so, anyway, that was the
I think it's a noble, I think and I might speak for Councilman, I think he's trying to get ahead of it. He's trying to get ahead of something potentially, time-consuming and stuff, and I don't have a problem. That's why I think maybe every proclamation has a sponsor, which could be the mayor or whoever.
But I'm hearing now,
Well,
I don't
what
want to turn in a proclamation because I don't want to be turned down now. So if you noticed, no proclamation submitted.
Well, like I said, we can wait and see what happens.
What I've
Been
heard
periods of
from Mr. Lawless is perhaps we take this up under when we do our policy handbook right now, but there's no action item here. What, I think there's clarification from the minutes of what we've already adopted, and there's gotta be 3 votes to make it go forward.
Yeah, but I think what he's worried about is that someone.
I understand that. I'm saying tonight's not the time for that
But we
debate.
should not.
Your Honor,
I see.
perhaps we can direct staff to change the procedure just slightly, and that is that any proclamation that's submitted to staff must have a council member's sponsorship to get on the consent calendar. That takes care of what
That's fine too, but
Councilman
we can't do
Ward
that tonight
wants.
either, right?
That
No, we can bring that, but we can
With-
get direction tonight and bring it.
To bring it back.
That's fine.
It doesn't have to be the mayor, it's any council member can sponsor
Right.
any proclamation, and it comes to the council for approval, as said, decided before, that it takes 3 affirmative votes to get it to
And
move
that
forward.
seems reasonable. That seems reasonable.
Anything else on this item?
No, so we're just gonna ask for direct, or just gonna,
Bring
That's
that
gonna
back
come
to
back at the
To
time.
the council procedural handbook.
Okay. Item,
Consent
from the
calendar.
consent items, item 1.